Alright, welcome back. It's time for another Clip Studio Paint tip, and the one I'm going to show you today is this icon here. It's super useful because all you do is press it and viola, everything disappears off the screen. Now this may not seem very useful, but if you've never used Clip Studio Paint before, you might draw a bunch of stuff, and in real life you might just get an eraser out or get a brand new piece of paper and just start again. But if you haven't used Clip Studio Paint before, you might actually search through here looking for the eraser tool, and then you might try erasing, and then most people don't really know how to change the brush size on day one, and so they just suffer with this eraser which only erases a small amount. Obviously, if you knew how to use the brush size shortcut, you could make a bigger eraser and it would be a little bit faster. But what you're really looking for is not the eraser tool, you're looking for the erase everything tool. The other reason this tool is so useful is that when you've got all the palettes hidden, like so, and you're trying to maximize the amount of space that you can use to draw on here, as you can see, I don't have access to my pen tool, my eraser tool, and I don't have one of those fancy Apple pencils that can change the tool by tapping on it. So in order to get to the eraser, I could go back to my tool palette, find my eraser, click on it, and then erase. Or just from this menu here, I've got one tap right here, click, and it's all gone. Now this is super useful when you're just sketching ideas out and you're like, I don't like that. Erase. Okay, maybe I'll draw the face about this big. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, maybe I'll draw the face about this big, and I'll have the body about this big and the legs about this big, and yeah, maybe have the arms coming out like, you know what, actually, no, I don't like this either. Okay, just quickly. It's super useful if you're just throwing ideas down on the paper and you don't need to save any of them. You're just looking, you're just experimenting with the page. You're like, okay, I'll have a face over here, I'll have the arms out here, and maybe I'll have the legs out like so, and they'll be sitting on some kind of chair. This is the back of the chair. You know, you're just brainstorming using different ideas of perspective, like, okay, I think I want the idea like this, and have these lines, and eventually it's a mess, and you're, you know what? This is not working for me. Let's erase it and let's try it again, but this time from this side, have the body coming over here and the arm. Anyway, it's super useful for brainstorming really fast, and especially if you're making videos on YouTube. Let's say you've got a channel where you're explaining things like, okay, the first thing we're going to do is come up with an introduction, and then after that we're going to get into the script phase, and then after the script we're going to actually do the recording phase. After this, let's say you want to get to the edit, but you've run out of space on screen. You could just erase quickly and go, and then after that, we're going to go to the editing phase. And then after that, we're going to the upload phase. If you're just using Clip Studio Paint to get your ideas on paper really quickly, and it doesn't matter that you save these to special layers or anything, it's so helpful to just have a quick erase button. But the question is, what is that button? Well, the one you're looking for is like this. I don't know, this could be an explosion, or it could be the sun, or it could be manga speed lines. Anyway, this is the icon you're looking for. The problem is when you want to add this icon to the command bar, you can't search for it by the icon, even if you've seen it on other people's videos and you're like, that looks like a useful button. If you're looking for it, you need to search by word. Fortunately, the word you're looking for is very simple. If you just go over to the menu bar, click on the Clip Studio Paint icon and go down to command bar settings, you need to make sure this says menu commands here, but you need to go to edit. In the edit tools, you can find a selection here called delete. You click on that, and then anywhere you want it here on the commands bar, if you click add, it will add another of those icons, and you can add a bunch of them if you want. Once you've got the icon on the commands bar and placed where you want it, you can drag and drop them to different places as well. Click close on this icon here, and then when you're drawing, you now have quick access to delete everything. Now, another reason this is super useful is that sometimes the delete key is not easy to find. When you want to delete only a portion of this line, let's say you use the lasso tool like so, you might not know that there's also a delete icon right here. So if it helps for your muscle memory, you can just use the delete icon up here and it will do the exact same thing. If I click down here, delete, undo, delete, undo. This context menu here is super useful, by the way. If you don't use it, I do recommend it. Now, there's another case where it's quite useful to have the delete key available, and it's when you're using rulers. So for example, let's say I've got a linear ruler like so. It shows up in purple, which is nice and easy to see. I can now use the G pen to draw a line that goes along this ruler. I can also use the selection tool and have this ruler somewhere else and then use it to draw a line at a different angle. But sometimes when you're drawing, you just have these rulers everywhere. Let's say that you've drawn a box like so, and you've used all these rulers, and they're just getting in the way, and you're like, there's one ruler right here in the middle which is getting in the way, and I keep clicking on it by accident when I want to draw on this line here, but I keep accidentally drawing on this line instead. I don't want that line. There are multiple ways to get rid of this ruler, but one of them that's super easy is to use the object selection tool, select the ruler that you want to get rid of. You can see these red dots because it has selected this ruler. And as you can see, there's no easy way to delete this ruler. Even if I click on the ruler tool instead of the object selection tool, there's still no option here to delete rulers. And of course, you probably know this already, but if I use the eraser tool, this erases lines. It doesn't erase rulers. So click on the object selection tool, click the ruler that you want to get rid of, just tap the delete icon, and you can get rid of anything you want that is getting in your way. Now, just as a side note, this is one of my least favorite aspects of Clip Studio Paint, because I would love to be able to just drag a selection box around things that I want to delete. But in Clip Studio Paint, it seems that the only way to select rulers is to tap on them very accurately. So right here, that's selected. But if I tap over here, it's unselected. So if I like miss the line by a few pixels, it doesn't get selected. But that's just a side note. Hopefully Clip Studio will change that. They probably won't. One more thing I should point out is that when you've just got lines on the page like this, when you click delete, it will only get rid of that line. If you want to get rid of these rulers, you need to select the layers that they're on or select the rulers themselves and click delete one by one. Well, that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tips video. Be sure to check out this video next for more Clip Studio Paint tips and tricks. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Like the video, that helps me with getting the video shown to as many people as possible, and leave a comment. Are there any specific things that you'd like help with using Clip Studio Paint, the software, or with just drawing in general? Leave a comment below. That's all for now, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.